Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. Father, we thank you for Bonnie and Katie for sitting with us. Father, we ask that you sit with Rob and I as we work through this topic. Father, we ask that somebody that's listening, Father, they hear this and possibly they see you through what we're speaking about. Father, we say this in your name. Amen. Let's go to work.
Welcome back to Recovery Unfiltered. It's Rob and Larry in your ear again. We don't need letters before or after our names. Just two drunks with a lot on our brains. Sip, relax, let us carry the load. We are two alcoholics with a lot to say. This is...
Hey, Dad, I got to get that.
What?
I got to get that on my playlist, on my YouTube playlist. So when I'm getting ready to go compete, that'd be like the last thing in my earbuds when I go on the mat.
You want that?
Yeah, I could make it my ringtone, huh? I don't even know how to do that, but we'll do it.
Katie could do it for you. She's smart. She's smart like me. Hi, Rob. Hi, Bonnie.
You know, he always got to get himself in there. She's smart.
Why not?
Just like me.
Just like me. She married me. How could she not be a smart?
I question that every day.
We have the wives here. This is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Not your daughter.
Bonnie, you've been that long. Stay in the mic.
Get your mouth by the mic. A fist away, he says.
Hold on.
So you can be smart like Larry. Oh, here it comes.
There. There.
Even
Emily, well, I'm going to shut up because Bonnie's about to throw something at me.
She's a bad shot. Don't worry. Just don't move. If you try to dodge it, it'll hit you. If you stay still, she'll fucking hit whatever behind you. She's terrible.
Yesterday coming home, I didn't have to. I went to a bachelor party for a very close friend of mine that's getting married at 58 years old. He's getting remarried.
Okay.
He still has bachelor parties at 58.
You know what, Bonnie? He didn't really want to. In fact, I made a joke out of it. I said, at our age, Ron, we ought to just go to Sizzlers for our bachelor party.
Yeah.
For your bachelor party.
All you can eat.
We were both down for that. But his son's his best man.
Mm-hmm.
And his son wanted to do something for his dad. So
That's cool.
we played poker and had a good time. And on the way home last night, trying to think about a topic that we can roll into in today's, and I just sat down. I was like, let's see what Katie and Bonnie would want. You're right. They hear us talking about stuff all the time. Let me just put this out there and see what the ladies would like to hear as a topic. And Bonnie fired back almost instantly. Tradition 11, which is something when we started with the podcast in the very beginning. One of the things I did is I went around to quite a few people, that's been inside the rooms of AA for an extremely long time and talk to them about Tradition 11, because as we look at Tradition 11 is our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity in the level of press, radio, and film. So that was one of those things, like I said, that I went and talked to Jay and Jeanette about, and I talked to Sean and I talked to a few other people inside the rooms, and just kind of got their inputs and their thoughts on it. And nobody could really say a no to it. Right?
Well, because we weren't promoting AA. We weren't speaking for AA.
We still aren't.
Do we go to, when we made, and we ad nauseum, come on, we are not affiliated. We made, in our early episodes, we really made a point that we are not affiliated with AA. We don't speak for AA. Do we attend AA meetings?
Yep.
Yes, we do. But in no way are we mouthpieces for Alcoholics Anonymous.
We have also, and I'm going to speak for myself. I have said that AA has saved my life, right? And I have no problem saying that. But that's the other reason why I try to get a lot of other people.
Well, remember, there was one guy we wanted to have on here who we loved that didn't want to come on,
right? Because
of that.
Right. So, and you know what?
God bless him.
Right. And I can respect that. And, we have cameras in here. And I've said, to any of our guests that come on, if you don't want the cameras, I can shut the cameras off. Right. I mean, the cameras are, and we're going to talk about this some more, but the cameras are more for social media, for me promoting the social media and that kind of stuff. So we can, the clips and all that kind of stuff. That's what we pull off here. We get a few people that watch it on YouTube. I know Jim watches it on YouTube.
That's where I watch it.
Well, you listen to it. You don't
I watch it.
Do you watch it?
Yeah, I get the videos.
So, okay. And I know a few other people do, and YouTube I really kind of like to start growing that platform a little bit more and more. I've tried to start pushing some stuff more that direction, but getting into this, and I'm going to read a little bit. Obviously, I've put some notes together, and I got some questions as we're going through this. And obviously, Bonnie and Katie is going to jump in here as they go through. But I go back to, our big book was written in 1939, right? And in
Published in 39.
1939, anonymity, which, by the way, you can always tell how long somebody's been in the rooms of AA by how they pronounce that word right there.
Really? or whether they can or can't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tough word to pronounce if you've never pronounced it. Anyway, so it was very difficult for me to make that decision, obviously, and I went and talked to those ones. Today, press, radio, and film have expanded into podcasts, right? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And one of the things that I've said from the very beginning, and I look at a lot of Instagram, a lot of TikTok, a lot of stuff like that, and I've seen more and more what feels like people are promoting something else besides sobriety. And that is, I'm like, okay, I don't mind if I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I can word that without sounding like a complete asshole. I don't mind the marketing of a book, but when you put on that you're a sobriety coach and this and that, I don't know. To me, that's trying to make money off the sobriety. I don't know. I have a hard time with that. And I hope I don't piss anybody off with that. I really don't want to. But just to me, there's the more and more, we're going to go get into some of the topics here pretty soon. The more and more I watch stuff, it's like, are you really sober to help people, or are you sober promoting yourself?
To make money.
Is there people out there that pay somebody
Yes.
Oh,
as
yeah.
a sober coach?
Yes, they are.
Really?
I thought, it's been brought to me, and I thought about it, but I can't do it. I don't have the time to do it anyway, but I just can't. That's not the calling God has given me.
You get paid by the hour. That's a whole nother job.
Bonnie.
Hey, babe, they get paid good.
Yeah, they do.
Because they don't want to be an anonymity. You got rich parents, so they don't want their kids to be stigmatized, or so they and they don't want it to be even be put in. This is people I've talked to. Or they don't want the extended family to know. They want everything kept in-house as much as possible, so they'll get a sober coach, TikTok, Instagram, and a few of them.
That's probably why they became alcoholics in the first place.
So they'd have an online coach, someone they can call up, and they pay them well. I know people are making money on that.
Do you see a lot of it inside of Instagram and that kind of stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see a lot of it, but and some of the topics is, I'm just going to get into some of these: attraction rather than promotion. That comes back to
okay, but let's go back.
Okay.
Anonymity.
Okay. First,
what was it? Why anonymity back in from 35, 39? Because you could lose your job if they found out.
Right.
It's stigmatized through the nth degree back then, not as much now, and now it's more accepted. I'm an alcoholic. Awesome. What are you doing about it? Also, what they didn't want is you standing up, because how newcomers are 2-3 months into it.
Right.
They start feeling, look at me, I'm sober, I'm going AA, and then all of a sudden they're back drunk. That shit don't work.
Right.
They didn't want that either. So,
and somebody
attraction rather than promotion.
Yes, I'm trying to remember. There was a big celebrity that came on in the TV, and Johnny Carson or something. And she was talking about being sober, and several months later she was right back. That was something that Jeanette talked to me about when we started this.
And that's what she was talking about.
Yeah, it's that same kind of thing, And you said it. Think about that. The towns where the town drunks, right?
Otis.
I mean, yes, the town drunks. Those were. I mean, everybody knew who the town drunks were, but you look to see who started AA was a doctor and a
lawyer.
stockbroker,
a
lawyer, right?
The third one was a lawyer, doctor, stockbroker. Then Bill Dodson was a lawyer.
So those are the things where those people weren't supposed to be alcoholics, right? Those weren't the town drunks.
The guy under the bridge,
right?
That's your alcoholic.
Yes, that's a true fact. Let's see. So what about? Let's see. Does attraction require us to say less and demonstrate more?
Yes.
All right. What about we say sober out loud? We talk about that right over there. We recover loudly.
But does that mean with words? Because how many times have you heard a preacher say, "Hey, go preach the gospel when necessary. Use words." Jay used to say the same thing. Go preach the bit. Live the step. Preach the steps, and when necessary, use words. Live it. We're supposed to live. Because what is the message we're supposed to carry? We talked about this last. It talks about having had a spiritual awakening to show other alcoholics how we have recovered. To show them, not tell them. Show them. It's action, because words don't mean jack shit.
And inside people have judged me by having the A symbol on my arm, right? But like I said,
That's showing them, isn't it?
it's showing them. It is, right? But
Open
it's
up conversation.
But it's opened up a lot of conversations, and it's also, to me, it opens up conversation and opens it up to somebody that it may be questioning it. Hey, you're part of AA, and it gives them permission almost to ask me about it, and I'm okay with it, right? I'm very okay with it.
Me and Bonnie had an appointment last week. We went to an appointment and talking to this woman and just making small talk because we know this woman. And she says she was talking about her daughter having issues with her adult daughter who's a therapist. And I said, you know what? The hardest people I've ever had to sponsor were the most educated, were the therapists, because they try to fix themselves. The next question out of her mouth, oh, do you sponsor,
right,
alcohol? See, yes, ma'am, I do. It just, the shit comes up in conversation. We don't hide from it. I don't go around preaching it, and I don't go around screaming from the mountain,
right,
but it's obvious,
right?
So
like last night at the bachelor party, I had two different guys, right? I was sitting right by the ice chest. Two different guys that didn't really know me. One of them knew that, Ronnie and I have been friends since the 90s, right? We've been friends a long time. So his brother and everybody, obviously the family members, know exactly my story and that kind of stuff. But there was a couple guys that hadn't seen me, obviously, in an extremely long time. And last time both these guys saw me, I was probably drinking pretty heavily, and one of them come up and he grabbed 2 beers out of the ice chest. He handed one to me, he handed one to me, and I'm like, no, thanks, man. I had to get that stuff up. And he goes, what? And then he obviously looked down at my arms. He's like, oh man. And then he sat down there and we talked for a little while as he was drinking on his beer. So, I mean, obviously he wasn't asking how he could get help. He was just asking me how my recovery and that kind of stuff was going, which has just opened up great conversation.
But to those, like, we're heading home from church today, Logan was talking about sharing his faith, and and how, and when I talked about planting seeds, watering, and then sometimes you are the one to receive the harvest. But we're always either planting, watering, or receiving whatever God decides. Like that, the conversation that happened with the young lady that we talked to, I guarantee that's going to come up something. The conversation with your buddy, he may go tell. I mean, those kind of conversations down the road. Hey, so and so said. And then just how God works that.
Or
whatever.
He knows, and it's happened several times, or he ends up knowing somebody and goes, hey, you know what? Let me call Larry.
Yeah.
Right? Larry, I just had this conversation with Larry a while back.
So there's a difference between out loud,
right,
and what does that mean? We gotta walk it, live
That's
it.
what I'm doing right here.
Yeah.
This podcast is extremely out loud.
But we are not affiliated with AA in any way or any other alphabet group.
No.
CIA.
It just saved my life.
TDS, none of it.
Being public about recovery versus being public about AA.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Right. That was the next thing. I have no problem saying I'm sober, but when people say, I mean, I don't know, when people, this is what, going back to what I originally said, and we're going to get into it a little bit more as we get down this list, but, almost always prior, let's just say go back 10 years, and when somebody says I'm sober, that automatically meant they were involved in the rooms of AA.
Well, and also, which pisses me off, I shouldn't say piss me off, but I disagree with it. That has the alcohol connotation. Well, I'm clean and sober. So what do you mean? You took a shower and stopped drinking? Well, I don't do drugs. And okay, so you're sober. That's how I see it. But they like to distinct, clean. My clean time is, motherfucker. So you took 2 baths a day? What are you talking about? You're sober. You're sober. That's sober. I would now, yeah.
So this is another point: recovery unfiltered and tradition 11. So we originally started this. It was to help people. It wasn't to bring in AA. Right?
No,
that's not what it was designed to do.
It was to help answer questions of family members who have people that, and why don't they? You'll go get sober for a bunch of strangers, but your kids, your wife, whatever, or you don't get sober, you die. Right. And then they're left with so many questions. What could I have done? What did I do wrong? Was I an enabler? And they're just left with that shit and no answers.
Are we trying to promote ourselves, promote AA? Are we just trying to open up honest conversations?
Katie, put that camera on me real quick.
Are you seriously?
Right there. Ourselves? What?
God. Good God.
Thank you, Katie. Seen it all day.
What a curse.
So of course we're not trying to promote ourselves. Because we're going to fall and fail.
Right.
That's why, my main reason why I do the steps the way I do. One, I shouldn't say, okay, it's this third reason. Main reason is because that's the way the old timers did it. Boom, boom, boom. Also, like when Eric, the greatest compliment I've ever been given when it comes to step work and sponsorship, when Eric was living outside his house, little Eric, and his wife had someone in her ear that knew AA. I'm using air quotes. I hate fucking air quotes. Anyway, so because she was asking him like AA questions, and one of them was because he was on step 8. He goes, "Hey Rob, my wife called. I won't say her name because she was not on the show yet." And I said, "What'd she say?" She goes, "Well, she was asking me what step I was on." I said, "Well," he goes, "I told her I was on step 8." And she goes, "Well, that's awful fast." And I go, "What'd you tell her?"
I remember this.
He goes, "Well, I took her to page 13 where Bill Wilson was still in the hospital, 8 days sober. He was working on his day step list. I took her to page 156, and I took her to page 188 where Bill Dotson, June 26, 1935, 16 days more sober than after Dr. Bob. So Dr. Bob obviously did his steps within 16 days. He didn't have to call me. He took him to this book, right in the book where all those answers are. I go, "What'd she say?" She said, "Oh," and then that's it. That's a great gift. He didn't have to call me.
All right.
Go right to the book because that's what it is. So you don't put your trust in me. You put your trust in the process and your higher power and leave me out of it.
Aren't you guys promoting being sober, though? Having a sober life?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And we talk about that. We open up the big, honest conversations that happen in here. One of the things that Rob and I have tried extremely hard to do is get other forms of sobriety inside
through the
studio.
church, NA,
right?
Celebrate Recovery, whatever. We tried a bunch.
We've had a few in here, and I'm not saying that it didn't work, but it didn't make good. I'm trying to be very cautious how I say this. It didn't make good conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Celebrate Recovery one.
Did we ever get an NA person yet?
We still haven't.
We've asked a bunch of them, but they just.
Let's be fair to NA. I've asked 3. Right?
That's a bunch.
Okay.
To me, that's how I define a bunch.
I've asked 3, and 2 of them said they need to talk to their sponsor and come back and say no, and 1 and just never returned the phone call. We're gonna
probably went back to the pipe.
Stop it. So last week, this we're recording kind of out of sequence. We're recording a topic before we record with our guest. So this one's going to air after our guest. Our guest last week. He doesn't have a lot of faith in God, and I'd have none
from what I know.
Right. So I want to be careful.
So this is coming after our
right. So I want to be careful how we discuss this because I don't know 100%. But
we'll find out.
But there's different ways that people get sober, and Brad had said it the best. Right. It doesn't matter how you get here; just get here and stay here.
Well, it's what keeps you here.
Right. It's what keeps you here.
Because if at first getting his wife and kids back, which is a lot of the reason why, the judge or whatever reason you get here, but really what's going to keep you here is doing it for yourself. Absolutely. That's kind of what Brad points out, which it is. I mean, how many times you see people come in to get their wife back, get their kids back, and they don't come back. Aaron's a great example.
Yeah.
When he first came here 10 years ago, first came to me and did all the deal to try to get his family back. And that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
And you know what he said? He gave it this, and then, that's when he'll tell you he didn't do it for himself.
I think he is now.
No, he is now. He's great, but
I think
you've got to get to that spot. I believe you have to get to that spot to get the kind of recovery that we have. It's got to be for you.
When does sharing out loud and become self-promotion?
That's a good one. That's all about motive, and I can't speak on someone else's motive. I can tell you what it looks like sometimes. I can tell you what, like you talked about, people being a coach and bringing in money. It doesn't mean they don't care. But then again, if you go get an education, right, to do therapy, you are entitled to get paid. But now, if you have a degree online, which I know, I'm talking about people that I know this is going on, and I know that, and they're fucking friends of mine. However,
there's a big difference between a degree and a certificate.
Yes, that's a great point.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, and that don't mean if you have a degree, you're because they're they're terrible.
Right.
They're overeducated.
Very much.
Over emotional.
And but I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of, 2007, 8, 9-ish. By the time Jason Ryan, Jason Allen, my brothers came in when the fellowship was, when we moved from the church across from the gym, right? I had found here's promotion. I wasn't getting paid, but I mean, I was down to fellowship all the time. And then Jason came in, but look what turned out. But this is what I would do, Larry. It was about a 6-month period. I was knocking them out. And I'd go to primary on a Friday and I'd sit down next to my sponsor, Jay, and hey, guess what? I heard another fifth step today. I heard another fifth step, and then he looked at me in his own J way, about 2 months into, who are you doing this for? And I was patting myself on the back. I was promoting me. Look at me. Look what I'm doing.
Right.
Not look what God's doing through me. Look at what old Rob, it ain't me. I'm just a dipshit.
Right.
But that's promoting myself, whether I'm getting paid or not.
Crazy.
It's all, only I can determine my motives. And that was just selfish and self-centered, prideful motives.
It goes back to, are we promoting ourselves? It's almost like an inventory that we have to take.
Absolutely.
Are we literally promoting ourselves? Why am I sharing this? I can tell you on straight honesty, there's a lot of times that I went into H&I just to listen to myself talk. That's a given.
But do you eat Cheetos at the time?
God, you haven't. But you know what? Good for you. You haven't mentioned Cheetos in quite a while. That is very positive.
I haven't said the F word yet either.
But why? But
because I love Katie.
I gotta discuss this.
When she looks at me with that, looking at
Rob
I feel so.
See, that's why I have her sit behind me. I can't see that look. She just gets me later. You had too many F-bombs. That's too funny. Yeah. So I've caught myself doing that, and you've heard me. I missed it last week on the last episode. How I left that one meeting. I was pissed off that I couldn't hear myself talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's all I was concerned about, was listening to myself talk. It didn't matter at all what those guys inside that room needed to hear. I was pissed off that I didn't get to share. And that was 100% ego. Mm-hmm. That was a horrible thing. And I'm, and I try so very, I do like to talk, right? But I try so very hard. Like yesterday at the meeting, I wasn't going to talk yesterday. I wanted to sit there and share. Last 2 Saturdays, I wanted to just sit there and listen. But I get called on. Larry, you going to talk or not? I'm like, you know what? Yes, I am. And I guess the ego thing in me, I could sit there and say, no, I'm good. I don't want to say anything. But this is going back to my sponsor, that's telling me, well, I should say my ex-sponsor.
I'm fired on air. Greatest day of my life.
Ex-sponsor telling me, you know what? Why would you choose? The first was when I asked him.
Yeah,
we have kids. You might want to make that the third.
No, it was a good day.
Anyways, it just, why are you going to rob somebody else? Maybe what you had to say. And anyways, so yesterday was a good meeting. Where were you at yesterday?
I got asked to speak at Manchester
Fellowship.
That's
right. How'd that go?
Fantastic.
Yeah. And you got him to come onto the show?
John is going to come on.
You bartered that?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I leveraged. Well, he already had me, so right. I was already there. And after the meeting, I said, I'll lean back. I want to talk to you after the meeting. Will you do the podcast? Absolutely. So anyway, he already paid my debt. So he's just going to do it.
That's how I got Michelle on here.
Yeah. It was awesome. He's got a great story.
Can we carry the message without promoting ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't we? Well, yeah.
I don't know. I think
absolutely. But what do you mean by promoting self?
That's a little bit what I was just talking about, liking to hear ourselves boast. Sometimes
attraction. But hold on. If people looked at our lives and they said, okay, what has AA done for you? Or what has sobriety done for you? What have these steps done for you? Whatever the question. If they don't see anything attractive in your life, your relationship with your spouse, the home you live in, get promoted at work, the things that happen, the things that God gives us, the blessings that come from staying sober and working this program, if there was nothing attractive in our lives, promoting self, they wouldn't want it.
No.
So there's got to be something attractive. So there's somewhat, look what God's done for me.
Giving your story, though, is promoting yourself.
I don't know if I would call that, Bonnie, promoting myself as much as trying to get somebody to relate to my story.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not really promoting yourself. You guys do it every time.
Right.
You're in the...
I didn't relate to people inside the rooms of AA till I heard somebody say I never lost anything. Because that was me. I didn't either. My yet list is completely full. And it's like, when I was in Maynard's, everybody in there had DUIs, popped on drug tests inside.
I had those.
But that wasn't.
Ding, ding.
So I didn't have any of that stuff. Didn't lose my wife. Didn't lose any of that stuff. So I didn't really relate to that until somebody actually told me. I heard somebody say, I have, my yet list is long. When I first heard somebody say the yet list and then they were talking about that, I'm like, I can relate to that, right? This is why I'm an alcoholic, not because I didn't have a DUI or have all these things, right? Because you said it on the podcast once before. If you ain't under a fucking bridge, if you're not under a bridge, that was actually for Tammy. I had to throw one in there for Tammy.
Yeah.
if you're not under the bridge, you're not a real alcoholic or you're not a real drug
You haven't
addict. You're
beat
not
your wife.
right.
If you haven't
Right.
beat your
Well,
children.
I
if you
shared that.
haven't-
I shared that yesterday because it was a 15-minute. I didn't mind in 18 minutes, which was awesome. But and I just went basically from when I failed the drug. I gave him a touch on growing up, 2 minutes on and then I jumped right into 2008-9 when I popped on the drug test, and then that the powdered accelerants had to go away. There was just Jack Daniels, right? And then when I finally was broke there and told my wife, I said when Tammy was at the house, I'm an alcoholic. She says, you can't be.
You go to work every day.
We don't get beat. The dog doesn't get kicked. There's food on the table. The roof's over. You've never missed a day of work. How can you be an alcoholic? Because those and the ones that she grew up with, they were violent and or under the bridge so we come in all shapes and sizes.
It truly does. There was a guy yesterday in the meeting who was to me a true meaning of an alcoholic, and you know him. He was a true meaning of an alcoholic. He had 8 years of sobriety, and then he decided to drink again. And it's like, one of the things in my share yesterday is it was about step 10, and oh my gosh, Larry, the topic was that we cease fighting, right?
Anything or anyone,
right? Ryan read that part, and this guy was explaining himself that he was 8 years sober, and he finally got a new job. He, wasn't married anymore, that he lost his marriage. He was living blah, 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 blah. He had all this stuff, and he was just starting to gain all this stuff back. And he walked into a hotel room and the guy had a bottle of whiskey in there, and he poured a shot from himself and said, do you want one? And he said, yeah, sure do. And they both took a shot. He said, after 8 years, it was just like that. And I'm like, I looked at that and I'm like, well, there's no why there. That's just it. That's just what it is.
Did he think he was cured?
He said
8
there was
years
no
and cured.
When you're not spiritually fit, when you're not ready, because it says
exactly
you're without defense against the first drink.
Yeah.
God is our defense. And when you're not spiritually fit, you can't recall the pain and suffering of a month or a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea because we are alcoholic.
So
we
how about
always
these
will
ones
be.
that don't believe in God?
We're going to find out.
Yeah, but
They-
that's also what is spiritually fit.
There you go. Spiritual fitness does not mean spiritual maturity. You can be very spiritually immature and still be spiritually fit. That every time I wake up, every morning I wake up and I don't have that obsession.
Uh-huh.
We know what the obsession is, like where all you think about to drink, like the young lady we were talking to who's just white knuckling. She knows what she knew. When she left work and went home, she was in a fight. She was going to be in a fight, telling herself, not to, that's the obsession. We never could beat that.
She
When you
also
don't
knew
have that,
in
Katie,
2 weeks she was getting
that's being spiritually fit. That doesn't mean you won't driving down the road and you hear a song and you think, well, God wants me to buy a Toyota. Did you hear that advertisement? That's spiritually immature. Which there are, just like we're reading Drop the Rock, the gal story saying, I live in a dirty apartment. So it must be God's will that I live in a dirty apartment. No, that's spiritual immaturity, but you can still be spiritually fit as we grow, which means the obsession has been lifted.
That's one of the biggest things and this is going down a different topic, but we've not talked about it a whole lot is maybe we have, but I thank God every day that he lifted that obsession from me when he did, because when I hear people, this same gentleman, he's got several years sobriety now, and he says he still has the obsession. And I'm like,
it's harder for the ones who've gone back out.
God.
Those of us who have, and I pray that I stay this one. And as you grow, as you hear more of these stories, those who've gone back out, stumbled. I believe, this is just as I walk with God, he asks more of them. No, because you've been given this and you fucked it up. So I'm gonna make you walk with us a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So you'll appreciate it a little bit more. So maybe you'll remember. Those of us who, if I don't have another recovery, I may have another drunk in me, I'm sure, but I don't have another recovery.
What do you think people like Pat that did it for 7
years
in and out?
Well, he never did it. He was a rim runner. Pat will tell you, he never did it. When he finally got in enough pain and did it, he never had to again.
This guy had 8 years when he was explaining it last night or yesterday in the meeting. So what I would
love to know what happened that last year of that 8th year. What was he doing? How many meetings was he hitting? How many times?
I didn't.
What kind of service commitment was he doing? Was he giving anything back? That's what I want to know. And I guarantee I know the answer.
Yeah,
little to none.
I'm sure. I mean, we didn't get. I wasn't able to get into that conversation. He called on me right after he got done speaking, and it was like, I was still registering what he just said, because everybody that listens to this podcast know that I'm not obsessed, but that is one of those things where I just ask why. But
I used to do the same thing.
when he said that yesterday, actually in my share, I kind of felt relief about that. And I was like, there is no fucking why. It just is. It just happens.
No, but sometimes there is. Well, there is a why, because that drink doesn't happen then.
No.
The next drink is planned. The next drink took place.
My point is, it's always the same. That's always the same pattern leading. I mean, when we had Kurt on, it was the same pattern.
We're talking to God, quit working with others, quit fellowshipping.
Kurt was in the.
But he wasn't working with others. He wasn't sponsoring people. He wasn't actively sponsoring. He wasn't going to meetings.
Right.
And he thought that we got to give it away to keep it. They say, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know.
So the next one is why personal anonymity matters. I think so many people, there's still a lot of people inside the rooms, and we've actually had somebody on this podcast that doesn't talk about it a whole lot inside of his work environment. It's not one of those things that he talks about. You'll know exactly what
I know it is.
He just doesn't talk about it a lot at work. And the complete opposite of that is everybody that I work for, that I work with, absolutely no, I'm an alcoholic.
Well,
because I ain't afraid to talk about it.
Well, mine was pretty my failed piss test. Even though I studied hard for that son of a bitch, that failed piss test was pretty. I had to walk off the job, and then
ashamed.
And then 7 years later, when I got sober, I got to call my boss, who took me to Uncle Chuck, and then it's hard to keep that under wraps.
But isn't that anonymity part of being humble too, though?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So why? So
well, it's protection. I don't ever want to soil the name of Alcoholics Anonymous or the steps or God, because if I fail, it's solely on me. It's because I didn't do what I needed to do or didn't continue to do what I needed to do. It's not that the steps failed me or the fellowship failed me or my brothers failed me. I failed me.
I think that's the biggest thing that concerns me. How sober or how out loud I am about my sobriety is if there ever is something that I slip on, good God, I just don't ever want that to happen. Right. Yeah. And but that's why I stay right here.
But the greatest gift
that's why I stay right here.
And the great gift God gave me, I love this. I mean, and as I shared yesterday,
for sure. Absolutely.
The first time I've ever went and shared, and I wasn't nervous. Remember, I did that little step work about competing.
Yeah.
It carries over into this for some reason, because that's not my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing, and I shared my favorite thing to do is big book,
right? Drunk,
his big book, and doing this. I love that. I don't do it because you got to give it away to keep it if you want to do this. But it does cost me. It it is sacrificial because it takes time away from me and her. It takes time away from me and my kids. I could be doing or working out or training. It is sacrificial every time, but it's worth it. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't love going to Manteca and sitting in front of all those men. And then what he says, John's like, you guys are there was 30 of them in there. And I knew 2 of them, besides Nathan that was there. I knew 2 of the guys, and you guys are going to be blessed. We got a great speech. And I'm like, motherfucker, shut up. Shut up. And I told him, hey, I apologize because what expectations do. They cause resentments. So you're going to be, calling your sponsors and praying for John because the motherfucker set you up for. So and I'm going to let you down because my story's not exciting.
So recovery influences.
Bachelor party.
So what? Interesting question I just wrote it down. Because I like to speak and that works for me and I enjoy that. Am I not being humble? Is that boosting my ego?
It depends on your motives. I can't speak for you. I don't know what it does to you inside. Remember, justify, rationalize, minimize.
I understand that, and I can tell you right now, every time I speak, I'm on fire.
And I love me too. Speaking. And sometimes, Larry, for me. There's more of me in it that should be there. And sometimes there's none of me as it should be. It just depends on the day, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to speak because I'm going to plant, water, or harvest, one of those 3. And sometimes, there's a little bit more of Rob that should be there. Look at me. And sometimes I'm actually where I'm as humble or I'm right sized, but I'm going to continue to do as I'm called to do and ask God to help me with that internal battle.
And that's the only reason why I asked that question is because I as much as I enjoy working with one-on-one with a man, which I do, it's enjoyable for me, especially when I see them getting it. I really enjoy that. but nothing fires me up than speaking in front of a room of people.
And there's your gift.
Nothing.
And then again, today's message at church from New Balm.
Yeah.
Everybody has a ministry, you know. And no more so than in recovery.
Yeah.
You have a ministry, and just like Father Martin, who's been dead a long time, you know, big name in AA, terrible sponsor. He was a Catholic priest. Terrible sponsor, self-admitted terrible sponsor, but he was a magnificent speaker, and he used that gift to touch millions of lives, you know, around the world. I'm not a great speaker. I don't believe so. I got asked to speak all the damn time, but I believe we all know my gift is the one-on-one. I'll do everything I'm asked because it may help somebody, and because I'm asked to, and because it keeps me humble, because it keeps me uncomfortable. So I go do it to be uncomfortable. But I'm never uncomfortable doing the one-on-one, and that's my gift. And as long as he allows me, I will do that.
Well,
You know what? I'm just gonna say this. He's right. New Bomb is right. Everybody does have a ministry, and Larry, his uncle passed away, and years ago, and he did his uncle's service, and his granny swore that he was going to be a pastor one day.
He is a type of.
So wanted him to be a pastor. And I think he kind of tried to travel down that road, and, you know, life gets in the way. It's just what happens. But now
my pastor tried to push me to get into seminary.
Yeah. But this really is a ministry.
Yes.
In a way it is.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry for the ones who don't believe, or, you know, that's not what you're here for, but it really is him ministering, you ministering to people in a way, bringing a message that some people do need to hear.
I think it goes back.
Well, and he also, and Steve, also to Katie's point, he brought up where you work.
Yeah.
Where you go to school. Wherever God has you,
but
that's your ministry.
And I've said this all along. I truly believe God put me on this earth to lead. Right. I do, because that's why I enjoy being where I'm at with my job, because one of the things I cannot stand is when people tell you to do something and not encourage you to do something. And I am very much an encouraging person to everybody that works below me. More and more. I like to encourage them, work with them, help them, get my.
But how much better of a leader are you after in this last 4 years than before?
Night and day.
Right.
Night and day. There's no comparison. I would not be working where I'm at currently right now if I wasn't. And the owner of the company has told me this. There's no way you would be working for me 5 years ago. He's like, I just saw the difference in you. That's why I knew that.
Saw the God in you. Yeah. As I said, you were going to say there was something on your mind.
I was saying, you guys are making me feel bad about myself.
Why?
What is my ministry?
Oh, honey,
I don't leave the house.
Find it.
Maybe it's not revealed to you yet.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
I mean, Rob says you've been in the book quite a bit more.
Well, she's been in her and Logan keep coming to me with questions. He's in the Bible a lot. She's got in the Bible and the big book quite a bit. Your ministry is coming. Ask him.
I can cook. I do the meal train.
Well, no, she does. No, she does do that. I mean,
I cook for meal train.
Was when your kids were younger. You know, maybe that was your time of life. You did PTA and that kind of stuff too. I mean, but we're always evolving.
Oh yeah,
always. So maybe it's just not revealed to you yet.
That's a great prayer, though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The last thing you should pray in the morning, God, what's my ministry? And then He'll show you eventually.
When you pray for patience.
No, because I'll get a damn crying baby on an airplane or some shit like that.
I'm going to get daycare or something.
Yeah, I ain't praying for patience.
I'm good.
This may not be a great question for Rob, because Rob doesn't look at it as much. But Bonnie, you might be able to get into this one a little bit. Recovery influencer, are they helpful, harmful, or are they both? Right. I'm just going to give my 2 cents on that, because I look at both. We talked about one. I even played him on here, right? He calls AA a cult. Mm-hmm. And the more and more, and I watch him only for purposes of, you know, I don't really put a lot of weight into it. I listen to it and I'm just like, why? I think what I'm trying to do is hear his purpose. I don't understand his purpose. Why
are you grinding this act? Why are you having that? What's your axe to grind? What is it?
I mean, you and we are on Instagram and TikTok, unbeknownst to you, because you have no idea.
How we doing?
But we're doing well.
I'm on TikTok. That's awesome.
I'm banned from TikTok, so I can't watch.
Still? Facebook and TikTok?
No, I got Facebook back.
Did you get Facebook?
Yeah, when Trump became president, I got Facebook back. After 5, what was it? 6.5 years, 5 years.
Bonnie, our rebel. There's her service right there.
Yeah.
I'll get you kicked off.
Hey, but she also does have some aliases. Like I won't say their names.
Robert.
She's like Thomas Bonnie.
No. She's
Oh no, Adeline's horrible.
yeah.
She's horrible. She's from the devil. She'll say anything to anyone.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. You know, there's
Like what? Okay, well, let's ask you, Bonnie. What do you think?
About
Recovery influencers are helpful or harmful, or both?
I think the ones that are in it to help people with a better life go down a different road is one thing, but I think the ones that maybe are doing it for clicks, views, getting monetized, getting.
But what if the information is good?
Sure, I think some people who have become influencers per se, or at least have a following, I think we're making some people famous that shouldn't be famous.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's not for good.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's, it's really not.
And a lot of things tend to go into trends.
Yeah,
I'm over these trends.
Yeah.
These things are disgusting. I can't. These
That's
trends.
literally the next topic is that same thing.
What are we talking about?
Sober becoming a fad.
Oh, trendy, fashionable.
Yes.
Well, okay. One thing though that is funny. I was going into Save Mart the other morning, and there's a table and a guy out there. And he's got all these like little wooden signs and keychains and donate whatever you want and you can take something. I'll always support recovery or whatever. I just come back from being with Tammy, so I had a whole thing full of quarters because for washing clothes and stuff, you got to use the quarters. So I just dumped it all in there and he's like, oh, God bless. Thank you. And I ended up telling him, oh, my husband does a podcast, told him the podcast. And I said, what's funny is I guarantee something from this table is going to show up at my house. I said, he sponsors so many people and his work with so many people. I guarantee it's a small town. Something's going to show up. I go take a shower. I come out. One of these little wooden signs are sitting on my kitchen table. And I'm like,
one of our buddies drops it off for me.
Where did that come from? He's like, oh, so-and-so just dropped it off. And I'm like, I know exactly where it came from. It came from the guy in front of Save Mart.
That is funny.
And I think ones like that, I love people like that.
That is, yes.
That will sit. But then it also makes you wonder, okay, is this money that I'm giving really going to that? Just like,
again, and that's
the homeless thing. Do I give it to them? They're going to use it on alcohol. And it doesn't matter what's in your heart. You're giving it to them.
That's what's your motive?
Food.
Yeah. You know what? People can judge us and maybe be the same way. But what bothers me about some of the stuff is it takes away from the true tragedy of this disease that we have. The fad of it, when people talk about being sober curious, being sober, it's like, listen, there is a true problem underlying that it gets masked when I feel somebody say, well, I'm just sober curious. Bitch, listen, are you an alcoholic or are you not? That to me is the tragedy, is if there is somebody on the fence that is on the cusp of really losing shit or liver completely shutting down.
And they see an easier, softer way.
They see an easier, softer way. They go, well, I think I'm just going to go down this sober curious path.
And end up dead.
Yes.
Okay, but that's still on them.
I think anyone
I don't disagree with that.
To question if they're an alcoholic or not, there's not a question. If you have to question, am I an alcoholic or
you are?
You are.
I like the sober fad, but for this reason, I don't mind. Okay, I don't mind it because I've seen so many people come in. We get the nudge. They get the nudge from the judge. You got a DUI or whatever, and they come in. I am not one. And who says this?
Yeah.
Who sat right here and said that they got diagnosed in the rooms. I became an alcoholic in the rooms because
Brian has said that multiple times.
They got the nudge from the judge. They had to come in because of 1 or 2 DUIs. Sign that's their attitude, right? Sign my card so I can go. Right. But eventually they hear something.
Yeah,
I've heard this more times than not. And I caught alcoholism in the rooms.
Oh yeah, and
I found out I was one of you, and they stayed. Some of them don't, but it's kind of like a fad. All right, I'll give this AH. I'll give these steps to try, and all of a sudden they're in love with God. Oh, yeah. That is something they just want to.
Right.
If that happens,
I've seen.
However it happens, I love it. Awesome.
But our brother Brian is that's 100% what happened.
He had to try it one more time because he wasn't one of us. He tried it one more time. He goes, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
he wasn't for sure.
I caught alcoholism in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. He did. That's how they describe it.
He's on a whole other, he's got something else that has been revealed to him. And he is going to come onto this podcast and speak about it. He's actually got somebody that wants to come on and talk about, and once again, I don't want to talk about it on here until he wants to reveal it, but it's a whole other anonymous, right?
Yes.
They went down a whole other level, and I'm like, I want that on here. We want that on here. I just want our listeners to understand that this is not all about AA. It's not all about alcoholism. It's not.
Recovery Unfiltered, baby.
Yes, recovery of whatever you're recovering from. Here's sobriety as a lifestyle versus alcoholism. I mean, this is one of those things where we talk about the sobriety people. We're just sober. We're sober for now. We're staying sober for right now.
I like the California sober.
Yes.
Which is not sober. That's bullshit. That's just pot high.
Like I said, I don't know why I have a problem with that.
Well,
I hear, fuck yes, I do know why, and I'm not going to beat around the bush.
That a boy.
I got a fucking problem with it. And you that are saying, I'm just sober curious, I'm just going to stay sober for a little while. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's how I'm sorry. I'm just.
There it is.
Because most people don't have a choice, right?
Yes, I don't have a fucking choice. Because if I pick up again, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
Dead. So fuck you and your bullshit. Fuck me. I don't know why.
That must be nice, huh? You're jealous.
I'm not jealous of it, Bonnie. I'm not. You know what pisses me off about it? Is you're fucking you're justifying it and rationalizing and minimize a fucking problem that's an epidemic to some real fucking alcoholics. And when they see that, they go, well, you know what? I think maybe I'm just going to try this sober curious for a little while, and they get another fucking DUI. They run and kill somebody, or they do.
No, there's real repercussions.
There's repercussions to softening our fucking addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
It's a double-edged sword. I get it, but still, that person that continues to drink, wants to go the easier, softer way, and kills people, that's still on them.
Yeah.
I see your point.
I get it. I know it. And I think I beat around the bush, and I was trying to be soft.
Don't be soft. It's unfiltered, baby.
Yeah. Not try to, people or,
broad brush everybody. But
right.
I get you.
It's hard. And because I look at a lot of it for our podcast. I get a lot of ideas through this. I get a lot of topics through this, and I just want a better things.
What about the story? I've said it on this podcast. Remember, I was 2 years sober, maybe. And there was a guy in the rooms of AA. He's in the rooms of primary purpose. He is still in the rooms. He doesn't live here. He lives in the Bay Area. However, he's a cat that had two DUIs. He's never worked the steps. I overheard in the back room, it was a young kid, younger than me, asked this gentleman to be a sponsor. He said, would you take me through the steps? He says, you don't got to work the steps. I've been sober today. Because this guy, I heard you. I never worked the steps. I didn't have to work steps. I've been sober 9 years.
Yeah.
And then I never said a word. 3 weeks later, that kid got drunk, hit a wife and two, didn't kill him, put him in the hospital, damaged him pretty good. And he's still in prison.
Yeah. And It's scary.
Whether it changes anything or not, because I believe that was wrong. I let fear make a decision that I shouldn't have, in my opinion.
Fairly new in your sobriety,
correct, and that's why I didn't say a word. This guy's got 9 years. Sure, he knows what he's talking about. I won't say nothing.
The next point is what are people attracted to? And I go
come on, dude, what are you talking about?
Jesus, Robert.
That's what they're attracted to, baby.
I go back to this. One of the things, and I was in such a bad place when I saw Rob come walking. Not a bad place. Hold on.
That's what my
Not
question.
a bad place. I was just blah, right? Because Jay, love him, just was not doing it for me as far as what I needed. I needed explosion. That's just what I needed.
What did you see? I didn't come dancing in the fucking room.
You might as
I don't walk in that. I don't walk in that room anyway. Any different. I always
you come walking in, and this is where the attraction comes in. The attraction and
rather than promotion.
When I saw you come walking in and I see you speak, and I saw how people were attracted to that, and then your personality, and you weren't that glum lot, that I had become. Your personality is what I had when I was drinking, and I knew you were sober, and I wanted that. And when I heard you speak was, you were just, what? And it goes back to music. I'm just going to say this. When I listen to music and I listen to some of this bullshit country music that they call country music, there's no heart to it. There's no feeling to it. There's no soul to it, right? There's none. You can hear people speak in the rooms and it's blah, 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 to fucking blah. There's no heart. They're regurgitating something that they've heard from somebody else. Speak from your goddamn heart. I heard that from you. Right? I heard your soul speak. When you speak from experience, you speak from pain, you speak from recovery, and it's evident in the way you walk, in the way you speak, in the way you just look. And that's what attracted me, and I wanted more of it. That's what I want other people to see in me. That's what I strive to have, because whether I sponsor or not, I want somebody to want recovery the same way I have recovery. And that's what I try to do. That's why I said last time that I have to help with an open, willing heart. I have to. I struggle when somebody asks me, do you mind helping me? And my initial response is blah. And no, but I don't like that. If I'm that way, it's because I'm not spiritually fit. Like we talked about from the very beginning, I need to be more.
Or you're not as spiritually fit as you should be. I mean, the obsession ain't there, but.
No, the obsession's not there.
So you have some fitness, but you need more. Yes. So you don't have the blah. Yes. The greatest compliment I got yesterday when I went and spoke, because there was the greatest thing too. One of the guys, I won't say his name anyway, 6'3", big black man. I love him to death. He was one of the 3 people that I knew, and they're sat right in front. And I know he's hard of hearing. So he would look at me when I would start speaking too fast. He'd turn his head and I would slow down. And after I wrote, he goes, I was tipping you off. I said, yeah, every time you would give me one of these, I would slow down because I'd get talking fast. That's but funny. 6 people walked up that never met me. I love your passion. I didn't understand everything you said because you speak fast, but I love your passion. So if that's all I'm putting out there, that I love this program.
You do.
That's all I need. If you hear nothing else.
Yeah, it's very.
I love God and I love these steps. That's if you hear nothing else from me, that's the truth.
It is extremely. You're an infectious person when you.
But I don't have any diseases. Not that kind of infection.
Timmy Robert. You're very infectious, right? When people hear you, people are in the same room with you. That is very attractive to somebody like me because I want to be around people like that. And I want people to want to be around me and be a part of me.
After his cancer treatment, I remember when his radiation and them first started, they told him, you're going to hate us. You're going to hate us.
Really?
You're going to cuss at us. You're not going to want to,
Because he said about week 5, you're going to hate our guts because all the pain you're going to be in, you're going to see us as the cause because we're cooking you. So just keep that in mind.
When he was leaving, they said he's one of the few that will miss you. We'll actually miss seeing you. Like, yeah. Even during cancer and stuff, he was upbeat. He was, yeah.
I did flirt with the nurses.
So it's in all of, he puts it toward his whole life, not just his sobriety or it's in his whole life.
You can watch it. So you can watch, yeah.
It's annoying sometimes.
It's not, Bonnie, I get what you're saying. It could be, especially.
Sometimes I annoy people. I'm sure I do.
If I had to live with that, I'd probably want to punch him in the mouth and say, slow down,
Katie, do you ever get in a mood where you just kind of,
oh, yes,
you don't want to fight with them? But you kind of want to poke with them, just kind of, just get a little riled, just to get a little,
Larry's very resolute sometimes. And, like, he is definitive, and this is what he says. And I'm not speaking a different language, and I'm looking at him like, yeah, you are.
See, I get irritated.
We're not on the same page.
Like, poke back.
It's not a bad thing. Larry's thought process and how he processes things now, emotional things, it's all different. Whereas before he could have been like, no, or flown off the handle in some way or whatever. But it's how he processes things. I think, I don't know if it's through the steps or just how he looks at things.
Pause a little longer.
It's completely different. But also, he's very like, this is how it is, black and white. There's no gray in any of these areas anymore. And then on the emotional aspect of it, he's also dealing with that. Like, well, why don't you just give them a chance? Or why can't they explain themselves? And I'm looking at him like,
Because you don't.
do they have the right to explain themselves in this situation? Because they kind of did, and this was their response. It's just, it's different now, and I know that we all evolve in our emotions and that kind of thing, but it's weird. I mean, there's like things that you're.
I can't get him to fight most of the time. I can't get him to argue. I can't get him.
Well.
I'll be like poking.
I can poke him a little bit, but it's not like it was before now.
I'll end up getting mad.
Yeah,
before he will.
Here's where Rob Thomas comes in, the Thomasisms. I've told her many times, one thing that pisses her off, Logan agrees with me. She'll say, well, now you make me feel. So I'm
going to hit you with a shit.
I can't make you. I can't make.
Going to hit you.
I can't make you.
What did I tell you if you brought that up to me ever again, regardless of where we were at?
Anyway.
Hey.
I take back what I just said. He can piss me off like no other. Have you ever been told? I can't make you feel anything.
You're choosing to feel that way.
Oh, amen.
Okay, well, let me
which is true.
Pain. They're choosing to let the
okay, but pain's different.
AA.
Yes,
it is because we are under the umbrella of it at this point in our life.
Yes,
we are.
Yeah.
No, my argument: if you can't make me feel anything, I would not have married you. I probably would have killed you. I would not have stuck around. You make me feel plenty.
Great point,
what I mean?
Bonnie. Great point.
You make me feel plenty.
Yes. That's so funny.
Yeah. I take it back. He knows how to push buttons.
Yes,
too.
he does.
He pushes back.
Oh, he does do that.
The one thing that bothers me, okay, like when we do that 7-step prayer and God takes and leaves, and some of the things I thought he was going to take, he never did. He taught me how to use them. However, I was such a fantastic liar. As most of us, I mean,
we were all good.
Dude, I can sell ice to an Eskimo, even if you've got a backyard full of it.
Which is unfair because I try so hard.
She's terrible.
I try so hard.
So one thing I've always done in 15 years, if I state something as a fact, if I state it as a fact, it is. And I know it, we know. So if they were supposed to catch on. So if it's my opinion, I'll always say, well, this is just my opinion. That way I can't get caught in something because I was a fucking liar. That was just one of the character defects, and that's how God kind of helped me. So when I state something and they start arguing, did you just hear? I just stated that as a fact. So let's move on. Right. It is one. Don't let me go. Don't let me go get that. It's a fucking fact.
Stop it. I got Grok now.
And guess what? And I have yet.
And it can be wrong.
I got not Grok.
Yes, it can.
No, the other ones are.
They all.
I tried to manipulate Grok.
Oh,
I tried to trick Grok, and he's the only one that passed the test.
But she won't know you, Grok.
No, Grok's an idiot.
We got to get out of here. You know what? This has actually been, you know what? Once again, I'm going to go back to, you know what? I don't want to alienate anybody with my words of what I said with my anger. And it is anger, right? About, you know,
influencers.
If that is making you and you are getting people to get sober, so be it. What my point is, remember there is people out here that absolutely fight this disease. We absolutely cannot be sober curious.
And these steps are written in blood.
Yes.
People,
this is not something that we fucking play with.
Right.
This is life. This is life and death. It's marriage above drink. It's kids above drink. It's everything else above drink. I ain't curious about shit. I ain't. I have to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just bottom line. So, and I think it's not an anger that other people think they can be influenced. Be very cautious that there is people that are listening to you, that you can influence them, that it's okay to go back out and still drinking. And if you are very curious, and if you're watching those people, go into the rooms of AA or go into the rooms of somewhere and get into real recovery before you decide for yourself, okay, I am not really an alcoholic. Maybe I can control this. Make damn sure that I don't even know how, this is not making sense.
No, but it is hard to talk to those people.
Yes.
Because the people you're training,
yes.
You'll have more, better luck reaching the influencers than the people who want to take the easier, softer way, because they're looking for the easier, softer. They want to be able to drink and somehow control, but it's an illusion.
Yep. All right, baby.
Well, just to be devil's advocate here, would you rather them just be quiet and not say anything at all?
No.
About
speak
about
you're talking about the influencers?
Well, anybody who says
Right.
I'm sober curious, or, I was sober curious and I think I'm not going to drink for 60 days, 90 days, 120 days.
Awesome.
And then if they go back to drinking, do you want them to be quiet about that then?
No, I don't. I want to know your experience. I wouldn't.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If they go back to drinking, then what are the repercussions of that? Did you like it? I mean, did you want to go back? Was that 60 days of sober better? What did you?
They come to the evidence they really are an alcoholic.
Because
But, there's some people that I followed that have been quiet about this, where they've not talked about how they haven't drank, and then here they are 6 months in, and they decide to say, you know what, I did it for myself, or I just wanted to stop drinking. I didn't like who I was when I drank, or that I felt like I was becoming dependent upon it, so they just quietly stopped drinking.
I'd love them to talk.
Their life became better.
Yeah.
So
Sean's a light.
appreciate what they
Sean
have.
I do
was
too.
on-
And maybe they can touch one person, or maybe
Sure.
what's so great. I let it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I'm neither are they. And I know what you're. And I understand your point. But neither am I responsible for anybody that
And you're right.
didn't finish the steps with me and went out and
100%.
drank. That's on them. But if they can touch one person,
Yep.
and get one person
You're right.
that way, it could be saving a life. And I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All right. We
So-
got to get out of here. Our next one's coming.
Okay.
All right. Get us out, babe.
To the Recovery Unfiltered podcast. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com.
Smack you.
I can't make you feel anything,
There-
did I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I told you what was going to
Your phone
happen.
is-
You said that again.
I never even push.
Yeah, but you know what? That's actually legit argument.